Hello all! I recently picked up a cheap £20 case with a glass side panel. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for yet, but that isn't the focus of this video. The focus is on increasing its airflow. Once I got it home, I did some product searches to identify it, and it turns out that it's a BITFENIX ENSO. And I was quite surprised that I got a case that still sells for £63 and above for a third of that. So far so good. I had a look around it and I was concerned about its lack of airflow from the front, and it seemed my worries were justified when I found this video from Gamers Nexus. Sorry Steve, I'm just fast forwarding to the important bit.
You can put bigger ventilation on the very bottom. Down here you'll notice that this panel extends to the table, and the only place there's ventilation, literally, using that word in the most literal sense, the literal only place there's ventilation is there. That's where it gets air.
He's not wrong. The only air intake for the PC is this small gap behind the front of the base on the faceplate. Well, there are supposedly 4 places air can get in. There are tiny slits on the front panel to the sides of where the middle fan sits in the chassis, but as you can see they're ridiculously small and wouldn't be able to provide the airflow for pretty much any system. This official BITFENIX website image then gets it completely wrong, saying that intake 3 at the bottom front is for the power supply, which is of course at the back. This would do no good for system cooling anyway, as the PSU shroud runs the length of the system and there's no airflow point into the main body. This is purely to allow cool air into the power supply, and that's all. Intake 4, which points to the bottom rear of the case, gives an image of the previously mentioned tiny gap at the front. It should look like this, and I'm amazed nobody spotted that when putting the product site together. Back to the case, you can see here the 3 case fan areas for either 240 or 320mm fans, and with the front off you can see some good airflow potential with a bit of work. These ringed sections are little metal nubbins which poke through from the central metal front plate. All you need to do is bend them straight again, then push through from the inside to detach the metal section. There's some double-sided tape in between which may require you to use some force to pop it off, but once it's off you can then see the nubbins and the massive wasted cooling potential. I happen to have some spare magnetic mesh panels stuck on my radiator, and you can see that it clamps on pretty well and indicates what I'm going to do. I put the mesh panel down on the inside to trace out the outer edge, then also marked the outside edges of the fan grills. After that I went outside with my drill, rotary tool and tin snips and set to work. The rotary discs were next to useless, so I drilled through enough holes to get the tin snips in and started cutting. I completely forgot to cut in the safe zone I'd marked out, but on test fitting you can see it worked out okay. That should sort out the airflow. When looking on the inside though, you can see just how much I'd overcut, so if you do this yourself, don't overcut. Anyway, with the front panel put back together, this is what we get. Not particularly wonderful to look at, but should give the case decent airflow. Finally, here is a before and after picture. I obviously can't sell this to anyone in this state, so I'll need to find a use for it, but it goes to prove that with less than an hour's work, a bad airflow case can be modified into what it should have been in the first place. My only other thing to think about is where I can put the logo. Maybe best to leave it off. Okay, until the next time, bye bye!